Hi, my name is Javier, and here's a quick look of what's included in the game Sea Wolves Solitaire. So first, that's the book. That's the core of the game. You need a book to play, but you can play in two ways. You can play directly in the book. You have the missions of the book. You have all maps. You can play directly in the maps without counters, without anything. You just need a couple of dice, and you can write directly here. Or you can use a bigger format that I'm going to show you later. So here's a quick look of the book. Sea Wolves Solitaire is a book game where you command an U-boat in the Battle of the Atlantic. That's the first half of the war, so 39 until 42, where the times were easier for the U-boats because the escorts and the anti submarine warfare was not really developed until 42. So you have the rules, very easy to understand, with a lot of examples everywhere. Lot of examples. If you have any doubt, you can reach me anytime. I'm happy to help. The basic rules are like 12 pages, I think. Yeah. And with these basic rules, you can play the first two missions. And after mission 2, you are going to learn some other rules, but in a progress way. So mission 3 introduces the weather. Mission 4 introduces the escorts. There is a couple of missions with Enigma codes, very funny to play. And then you have the rules to the campaign mode. There's a couple of pages where you can find all the details for the campaign mode. Campaign mode is at the end of the book. And then you have a sequence of play with all the phases here. And then you have the first mission. Each mission comes with an historical introduction of this time, of the U-boats, of the new technologies, the escorts, ships, convoys, everything. So you can learn a little bit. You don't need to read this, but it's like a nice touch. That's your mission. Every mission says where you are, which port. In this case, port of Wilhelmshaven, that's in the north of Germany. Which grid. So every map is divided into grids. And you have the victory conditions in green, the defeat conditions in red. And then you have specials events if you reach some objectives, so you can gain extra victory points. And that's the core of each mission, just 2 pages. That's all the tables you need for the encounters, for the aircrafts, for the sighting, the damage tables, the actions you have, the technical data of each U-boat. So how far they can navigate, surface, submerge, the detection distances, if you are sighted in the encounter map or detected, Later on, you have the more DRMs, so dice modifiers, with weather. So you have different weather in each mission. For example, this one, clear, rainy, or stormy. You have day, you have night. In other missions, you have different weather conditions. For example, this Arctic mission, you have ice, fog, or storm. And yeah, you have the tables of the ships you can encounter on each mission. Those are real vessels from this time, real tonnage, everything. Those are the events you can encounter on this mission, the mission results with the victory points, the special events. And you have that in every mission, but each mission is different depending on which time of the war you are. For example, that's a mine lane mission and the coast of Cardiff. You have different rules for the aircrafts, and you have different U-boats. So you start with the Type A, and then you can upgrade to the Type B and the Type C. So you will encounter different technical data for each one. So the fuel is much better on the B and C. The torpedoes you can carry on, more torpedoes than the A model. Yeah, and you have different maps for each mission, convoy routes, the Mediterranean Sea. It's a nice one. That's, for example, for the Enigma machine, where you have different codes. For the Enigma machine. And then you have the campaign mode. In the campaign mode, you play the same way, but you can gain experience points. With these experience points, when you sink a ship, or you are successful in a mine lane mission, for example, you can spend these points to update your crew, your captain, the gun capacity, repair attempts, and reroll. So with these different levels, you can have better dice roll modifiers. And you can make 1 month patrols, for example, January until June 1940, July until December, and you can carry your points for the next missions. You can also return to the port to repair your U-boat. That's a nice way to play the game, because you start with a very bad U-boat and you can upgrade everything. And then you have, well, those are all the ships you can encounter in the campaign mode, 1940 and 1941, 1942, all the escort modifiers, well, some designer notes. You can access all resources of the game in BGG or in my web. There's turgaliumgames.com. I'll left all links in the video description. Some logs. There are some logs in BGG that some players have done. They are very, very nice. You can download everything there. You have the counters. You can cut the counters from here, or you can download everything in BGG. Those are some maps to create your own missions, and the encounter map to have a bigger one. Yeah, so that's the book. you can play in the book, but I also have some extras here. Those are the counters. So really nice counters, very nice material. So here you can find all ships you can encounter in the game. You have the torpedoes, you have the 7A, the 7E, the electrical one here. You have the mines, the gun, damage, everything. And with these counters, you can play in these bigger maps. That's a nice spiral bound booklet with all the maps you can find in the book, but on a bigger format. So very nice paper. You can play directly here. You can write directly here. I don't recommend that because, yeah, that's a nice paper. You can put a transparent sheet here to play, or you can also play with the counters. You have a U-boat counter. You can play here, submerge on surface. And you can also play here with your counters. You have all the torpedoes, you have the deck gun, you have your fuel. You can follow here the fuel, the events, the night and day cycles, the battery. Here's the battery level. And you have all the maps from the book here in the booklet. There's the Arctic mission. There's almost always night. There's the Arctic ice. Those are the maps for the campaign mode. Yeah, that's a nice addition for the book. And finally, you have the encounter map. Wait, that's a really easy one, but very useful. You have the sequence of play, detailed one, so you can follow better the phases of the game. And you can play directly here with the bigger counters. So you can move your U-boat here, surface, submerge. You can move the vessels. It's detected, that side. Yep, so that's everything you have in this game. You can find everything at turgaliumgames.com. Yeah, if you have any questions, just leave a comment or write me in BGG or in Turgalium Games, and I'm happy to help. Bye.